Good morning. I'm John. Welcome to Prepper Nation. Glad to see so many people survived yesterday. We're not going to beat a dead horse here, son. But sometimes I just like to say, I told you so. But hey, we will celebrate the next end of the world event here in a month or two. When that pops up, we'll have a party. Good morning, Freedom First. Teresa S. Salty Dog. Yeah, you made me sick with that comment. Somebody said Kamala Harris's bathwater probably have some hair in it. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Tactical Wolf, what's going on? Squirrely Radio. Good morning, Lewis Taylor. Good morning. Thank you to the moderators. Y'all rock, especially Dynamite Snowplow. So, also very quickly, I look tired. I stay tired. RCX, I stay tired. That's part of my deal. But it is what it is. The show continues. Thank y'all for the 5x5s. I triple check it now just to be on the safe side. Kevin Grip, I don't know if you're in here. Yeah, there he is. I want to say thank you. He didn't sponsor the coffee this morning, but let me tell you something. I was curious and I said, who has supported me the longest on the coffee club, here on YouTube? And it's Kevin Grip. It was something crazy, man, like 48 months or something. So I appreciate that. For the supporters on Patreon, y'all long timers going to get you some love this Friday on the exclusive stream. I got something special planned. But anyway, I appreciate y'all subscribing, hitting the thumbs up, please, so other people can find this. This morning, we are talking about the secret tax. All right, and I got to give credit to where it is due. Sadly, many of us, myself included, or Miss Nation, I'm going to blame her, Miss Nation. It's her fault, son. We have been paying the secret tax. And I got to give credit to Cash Jordan in New York City. Best content coming out of New York City. It's not even close. Does anybody in chat know who I'm talking about with Cash Jordan? Bama inflation, but it goes way beyond that, man. There's like a conspiracy at some point. And he broke it down and he made somebody like me understand. And so I'm going to try to do the same thing here. Coffee first and speak. Love Cash Jordan. Yeah, I've become a huge fan as of late. Dude's got a huge channel. So check him out on YouTube if you're not familiar. He speaks the truth. So I'm going to try and break it down the way it was broken down to a little old peon like me. All right. And I'm going to use the example of laundry detergent because I didn't really know this was happening, especially to the degree that it is. And it is a tax, believe it or not. People in boardrooms are laughing about it. Queen Essence, what's going on? So but you can apply this to food, any household item, toilet paper for y'all zombies. But this morning, I'm going to use laundry detergent because we go through it around here. We got kids and they just ain't putting up with it. Their clothes are dirty, son. Um, so here's the deal. If you go to a big box store, let's say Walmart, everybody's got a Walmart in their town, right? You go to Walmart, you might see a bottle of Tide for $10, the bigger bottles, right? But if you go to, let's say, a Dollar General or Dollar Tree, you might find a very small bottle, for whatever the Dollar Tree is. I heard that, not to get off onto a ramble and a rant, but I heard the Dollar Tree is moving now from $1.50 to $7. That's the new target area. So prices are going up there. Anyway, let's say you're getting it at the Dollar General, right? And it's cheaper. It's like $1.50, wherever you're getting it for a very small bottle. This looks like a great deal. Herein lies the problem, as Cash broke it down, and he did so eloquently. I think that's a word, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So you would actually need to spend $15 at the Dollar General buying up the small bottles to have the equivalent of the big bottle. Right now, I understand this is boring stuff. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about nukes and all that crap. And we'll talk about that at some point, preferably when it's an actual threat. But, spending $15 to get the same amount that you would spend $10, at your big box store like a Walmart. So, somewhere in West Texas. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning. So, common sense tells you just buy the big bottle, right? Dummy, just go out and buy the $10 bottle. What are you doing? Why are we bargain shopping, and dumpster diving basically at the Dollar General? Because you have to there. They never put anything on the shelves, son. Why are you doing it? Just go to Walmart and spend what you need to spend. Shrinkage is not also an issue for sure, folks. Um, the issue is a lot of Americans right now can't afford to. A lot of Americans are to the point now where they cannot afford to go. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds ridiculous, right? But again, they cannot afford the big bottle of laundry detergent. They probably could for that particular item. But again, the problem is we're buying all kinds of stuff and we can't afford to strictly shop and buy the full size versions, right? So people are scaling back and they're getting the smaller stuff. This is actually, it has a name. Again, it's laughed at. We are laughed at, I should say, in boardrooms. This is called a retail poverty tax. Stores like the Dollar General know this is happening. In fact, it's their business model. They see this as an opportunity to get rich off of other people's suffering. Some people, Dome Seeker, good morning. Surviving with Terry, good morning. So, um, a lot of people would say, hey, man, we need to shut down some of these Dollar Generals. I heard this a few weeks ago when Family Dollar was shutting down, right? We got 3 in the stretch of 15 miles, and that's the case here too. They're all over the place. But what Dollar General is actually doing, you would wonder, why do we have 3 within 15 miles, right? It's not to compete with Walmart. They are targeting impoverished areas. They're specifically looking for neighborhoods or groups of neighborhoods where people are struggling, where the poor live or the working poor live. And then they're coming in and they're offering less value. It seems like a great deal, but you're not getting that much. You know what I'm saying? You're actually getting a worse value than if you went to Walmart again. And they call this again the retail poverty tax. People are buying bulk groceries at Dollar Tree, Dollar General right now. I mean, they just are. I've never seen nothing like this. Dollar Tree specifically, they've always had groceries. 1 second after, hello, good morning. They've always had groceries, but it's kind of like people just go down, maybe they get 1 or 2 things on their way out. It was more of a convenience store, a corner store, something like that. Um, that's not the case anymore. People are specifically grocery shopping at the Dollar Tree and the Dollar General, and these companies are making bank by giving you less value. It's happening. Um, but it gets worse. Oh, yes, it gets worse. Dollar General is actually right now facing several multi-million dollar class action lawsuits. These have been brought about by the attorney generals of certain states, even the federal government. They've lost several. They're facing some more right now, the class action lawsuits, and they don't care. And here's why. It has come to, again, people's attention, the attorney generals, the government. I didn't realize the government has a special department where they go in and check this sort of thing. To go in and you know how sometimes you go to the store and the prices don't you get to the register and the price is something different. You know what I'm saying? Um, if it's buffering, I am sorry, folks. I am sorry. I'm sitting 10 feet away from the internet router. I don't know. Maybe it's the maybe it's the eclipse. I don't know. Eclipse related. But listen, they're facing all kinds of lawsuits because they are mispricing products on purpose. They've been caught doing this on purpose. We are live. Pure Bama blood. What's up? Now in court, they're blaming the poor staffing. They're saying we don't have enough employees to change the prices on the shelf. So you see something that says $2, you get to the checkout line, it's 240, 250, whatever the case may be. Um, Sorry, we couldn't get around to changing it, but it's changed in the computer. And for the most part, customers either don't pay attention because, hey, it's a nickel here, dime here, 20 cents here, or they're embarrassed to speak up when they get to a register, especially if they have people behind them. You know what I'm saying? An item rings up 20 cents more than it should. You're not really going to say anything. Most people aren't saying anything because they don't want to be embarrassed. And yeah, put it down and walk. That's what I'm saying, Maria. But the government, when they sent this little unit in and they're checking all the stores, it happens at all the stores. But they said Dollar General habitually offends. Like 20% of their stuff is not ringing up correctly, and they know it. And they've actually gotten to the point in these class action lawsuits where they are proving Dollar General is understaffing stores on purpose because they're paying millions of dollars out in lawsuits, but making 10 times that off of the backs of the working poor. You know what I'm saying? People like us who are barely making it. Um, so watch your stuff. You should be doing that anyway, but in any of the stores out there, watch your stuff when it is ringing up. Make sure that Miss Nation is really good about this. Walmart, I mean, I don't know if she checks it at the dollar stores or not, to be honest with you. I know at Walmart she watches it like a hawk. But watch your items as they ring up. And don't be embarrassed. If something rings up wrong, either tell them to put it back or you tell them to walk their little crayon legs back there and check the price on the shelf. Don't matter how busy it is. You know what I mean? Don't be shamed into paying the wrong price for stuff, because what's happening to people is they're getting home. The reason these lawsuits came about, Okikon, how are you doing? The reason these lawsuits came about is people started to notice, hey, I'm buying groceries now at the Dollar General, but it's almost $20 more than it was supposed to be. And they're checking their receipts. They're saying, nah, these prices right here are wrong. It's too late at that point. You have to pay attention at the register. You know what I'm saying? Listen, folks, the economy will continue to get worse. There's no shame in penny pinching. Some people, and I'm not judging anybody, but I'm saying some people are too good to use coupons, right? That crowd exists. I'm not using coupons. They're a waste of my time. I'm not using digital coupons. They're a waste of my time. They're beneath some people, if you will. And we use them, not beneath us. Some people, it's beneath them to say, hey, wait a minute, this item rang up and it's 50 cents more than it's marked. And for some reason, I don't know why this is. If it happens at a Walmart or Target or something, people will say something. But I guess because Dollar General is kind of lower on the financial totem pole, you know what I mean? These are in a lot of poor areas. People just don't speak up, and I don't understand that. Shorty, how are you doing? And I consider it. Look, I've said this before. I consider that part of prepping, shopping around, couponing, getting stuff on sale. Don't be afraid to do it. We are in an economic SHTF right now. I'm going to submit that to y'all this morning. We're in a full-blown economic SHTF. Nana City Farm, how are you doing? The coupons are not for stuff I buy, and that's fine. But I'm saying the stuff you do buy, if you happen upon a coupon or you see some kind of store special, hopefully you're not above using it to save a little bit of money. Um, I'm not. I'm gonna tell you straight up. And I'm not the best. I don't want to be preaching to the choir here. I'm not the best at watching stuff ring up. Again, Miss Nation normally takes care of this. I'm putting the bags in the buggy or whatever. But this was an eye opener, and I'm going to be paying attention from here on out. But we're in an economic full blown SHTF right now. People are waiting for it to happen, and I'm like, no, it's already here. Just because it's getting worse very incrementally every single day, right? People don't notice, kind of like the slow boil effect. 35% of Americans, according to our own government, are using credit cards right now to survive. Not not taking lavish vacations with credit cards, not buying PlayStations and big screen TVs. I'm talking about buying groceries. They're using credit cards in a Dollar General to survive. They're using it to pay, maybe taxes or utilities and stuff like this. Um, and all of this money that is being spent, exactly. Know your prices, especially per ounce, per pound. To me, again, Desert Frog, thank you. That's part of prepping. You know what I'm saying? You want the most bang for the buck. And the Dollar General is actually offering people the total opposite. These people are never going to be able to pay this credit back. That's the lie that this country is living right now. People are using this credit and they're thinking, well, when the economy gets better, I'll just pay all of this off plus interest. Warlord, what's going on? 20% interest on most credit cards. Yeah, and these people are not going to be able to pay it back because predicted by the experts, not just YouTubers, but the experts, right? By 2030, here in the United States of America, 45 million Americans who are currently working are no longer going to have a job. So a lot of these people are running up credit card and debt in order to survive under the illusion they're going to be able to pay this back eventually. And probably what is going to happen in many cases, they're not going to have a job at all. And they're going to be, debt slaves at that point for the rest of their life. How are they going to pay it back? A lot of these jobs are not going to exist anymore. Switching over to AI. AI is a huge subject that I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole because, again, we'd be here for hours. But many of these jobs are going to be taken by AI. AI has the ability to program itself. Right now, we're seeing people in Silicon Valley lose jobs, right? All these programmers and these game developers and stuff like this, software engineers. But eventually, by 2030, they're predicting a lot of jobs are going to be totally automated and they're going to be controlled by AI. If you lose a job to AI, where are you going at that point? Where are you going? You going back to school to get training for what job exactly? There's certain trades you can go and you can learn, but man, they're talking about truck driving is going to be automated. They're talking about factories going to be completely automated by 2030. All of the people that work, in Detroit making cars and stuff, they're all going to be out of jobs. They're saying teaching is going to be automated by 2030. You understand what I'm saying? People are going to be hurting at this point. They're taking on mortgages for homes. They're taking on crazy amounts of debt just to survive right now. And they're not ever going to be able to pay it back. We're seeing generational economic damage being done right now in 2024. And our job as preppers, robots, robots repairing robots, robots overseeing robots, they're not going to need many humans walking around to make sure the robots are doing what they're supposed to be doing at some point. And it's going to affect right now, again, it's hitting Silicon Valley, but it's eventually going to affect the lower skill workers. People that are demanding $20, $25, whatever it is, crazy. In California, I think it's 20 right now. Eventually it'll go up for fast food. Not only are they going to cut your hours when they're paying you $20 an hour, but you've got to understand eventually you're going to be out of a job anyway. This is just economic death rattles on these people's part. And what skills do they have to enter the workforce somewhere else? They don't. You know what I mean? Plumbing may be safe. Yeah, Sergeant Mike, plumbing, there are going to be certain things. But again, 45 million Americans. That's a lot of people that are working right now that aren't going to be working in 6 years with no plan whatsoever. As preppers, our job is to survive the storm that we are in right now. We were just talking, the folks in chat were talking right before we went live. We have a nation member in this situation right now. According to the annual homelessness assessment report, there are 194 new homeless Americans every single day. Now, in some cases, of course, drugs play a factor. In some cases, people are choosing to make bad decisions over and over and be homeless. You know what I mean? But by and large, 194 new homeless every single day. This is the trend, right? And people will point and they will say, well, homesteading. I don't have anything against homesteading other than at some point the bad guys are going to take your property anyway. Other than that, I think homesteading is great, but it's also a full-time job. Ask anybody that is doing the full-blown homesteading. It's a full-time job. Grow food sounds great, but if you're growing enough food for a family of 4 and you're trying to be self-sufficient, man, that's like an 8-hour shift, right? And this is one of the primary reasons that we don't do it. We grow a few things, but I'm not a full-time homesteader and I have no desire to be. It's full-time. But even if you're homesteading full-time, you're still left with bills that you have to figure out how to pay. How are you going to pay the property tax? How are you going to pay for medical insurance? If your kids want to go to college, how are you going to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to send them with a basket of apples? Take this to admissions and see if they'll barter. This is the real world. Companies want money. Insurance companies want money, right? And you have to be able to make money somehow as a homesteader. So if you're selling some of the stuff that you grow, now you're working even harder than you have to be self-sufficient. So homesteading is great, but it's not going to help you through this. As people say, just homestead and you'll get through this SHTF, without a hitch. No, there are going to be hitches. There are going to be a lot of hitches for all of us. And then you got to take into account the people that we have that live in Dallas, Texas, or that live in Chicago, or that live in Portland. Man, they ain't homesteading. If you living in an apartment in Dallas, you don't have the ability to homestead, and you may not have the money to move out of a city because it takes money right now. You know what I'm saying? So homesteading is great if you can do it. And if you don't have a job somewhere else and you can do it full time and you've got a plan to pay for things that you're eventually going to have to pay for, right? Toilet paper. Getting back to the zombies for a second. Look at the run on toilet paper. How are you going to buy toilet paper as a homesteader? You can get you a sawmill up and running. You're going to, you know what I mean? There's just certain things that you have to buy, especially if you have a family. People are just trying to survive in 2024. That's what it comes down to. Getting back to it for a second, have you noticed? Has anybody else noticed this? How busy the grocery stores are when they're running a sale? I mean, they were always a little busier when they were running a decent sale. Number one, the sales don't look like they used to. Miss Nation and I were talking about this the other day. The big sales that the grocery stores are having now seem like normal prices from 4 years ago. Nothing's really on sale. It's just like the inflation has gone temporarily. But when we go in, most of the stuff is already sold out. Have y'all noticed how busy those stores are? Have you noticed how busy the food section is at your local Dollar Tree? How the Dollar Tree is kind of getting away from the plastic junk, to a degree because they can't afford to get it anymore for a dollar, obviously, or even $1.25, and they're focusing more on, it seems like, canned food, the freezer section, and people are shopping there more than they are, it seems like, a lot of grocery stores now, unless there's a killer sale. Have you noticed people buying bulk in Dollar General and Family Dollar? We were just talking about Dollar General because I've seen people dropping a couple of $100 in Dollar General exclusively on groceries. And that's something that I did not see before Joe Biden. I hate to point fingers, but I didn't see that before Joe Biden. And I didn't see that before the pandemic. You know what I mean? People would go in, they would get, some chips and sauce, and they're out the door. Case of beer and they're gone. That's not That's not the crowd anymore at Dollar General. There are people in there, and they're going up and down aisles, and they're packing out buggies. And folks, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I cannot stress that enough this morning. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about Iran, right? We can sit here and we can talk about missiles moving around on another continent and all the saber rattling that's going on and all the what ifs, but I would rather talk about the real problems that we're facing every single day. Most of us. Maybe you're lucky enough, maybe you're blessed enough not to be facing. Maybe inflation is not an issue for you. And if so, that's great. I'm not hating on you for that, but it's an issue here, and it's an issue for a lot of people, and that's an everyday problem. And again, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get worse. We mirror, in my opinion, y'all let me know what you think. We mirror right now the final days of the USSR, the Soviet Union. And that's a real problem because not everybody in the Soviet Union at that time survived. Not everybody made it to the other end. I mean, if you go back and you look at some documentaries or you read some books on it, what you'll discover is people standing in line for 5 or 6 hours for a small box of food that they really don't want that the government is giving away. And maybe if they're lucky, a bar of laundry soap for the entire month. It just wasn't there. We are the Soviet Union as the wheels were coming off of the Soviet Union. And this house of cards, our country, right, is a house of cards and it's about ready to collapse, I think. And a lot of Americans are going to be in shock when this happens. I'm in shock that anybody in America would be in shock when this happens. But they will be. When this happens, when the dust starts coming up and the collapse actually takes place, the financial collapse, most Americans are going to be looking around saying, "What happened? What just happened? Why did all the Starbucks close down? I don't understand. Where am I supposed to get my designer coffee now? I gotta quit, man. I'm always picking on Starbucks, son. Where did all the grocery stores go? We're beginning to see it in bigger cities. Getting back to Cash Jordan, he actually did a video on this, and it was a great one. All of the corner markets and your smaller Dollar Generals and stuff in New York City are shuttering because of crime, and people are and pharmacies as well, and people in the city are just all of a sudden it comes crashing down. Where do we get our medicine? I got this prescription. I can't take it anywhere. Where do we get our groceries? I got a EBT card that's loaded up the government just gave me, and now I have to drive 70 miles outside the city to try and get food. You understand? And this is a problem that's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. Just the tip of the iceberg. And again, we've seen this before with the Soviet Union, so it's not like it's brand new. But a lot of Americans are going to be looking around like, what just happened? They're going to find themselves without a chair to sit in. And they're going to, what do I do at this point? And quite frankly, they deserve it. I said what I said. They deserve it. Because look, man, if these people lived through the recession back, was it 2008ish? They lived through a pandemic. They lived through September the 11th. They lived through all of these things that are happening. Not the eclipse so much, right? But all of the real events that have taken place. And they're still not prepping. And they see the news, and the news is telling you, market experts are on there telling you, okay, we're headed for an economic collapse. They're now saying that soft landing is very unlikely. What a shocker, right? And they're still not prepping. They just will not take the initiative to do the work for themselves. It's daddy government, please take care of me. If they still have that mindset when the collapse takes place, they deserve whatever comes their way at that point. Some people just got to learn it the hard way. And unfortunately, again, not everybody's going to survive it. because they didn't survive, in the Soviet Union. We've got a lot of squatters in this country who I hate to tell you are going to get preferential treatment. They're going to get fed, they're going to get housed. It's already happening. They're getting fed and housed before actual Americans. It's just going to get worse from there on out. So, what is your focus as a prepper this morning? How focused are you on nukes moving around all over the place? How focused are you on airplanes moving, submarines moving versus what groceries cost and what groceries are going to cost in 3 years and how many people are going to be out of a job in 3 years? Where's your focus as a prepper? At Prepper Nation, I tell it, I don't sell it. That's the motto. But the question is, are you listening? Because I can't force you to pay attention to the real issues. I can't force you to prepare for them. But I truly hope that you are listening this morning. Y'all take care and God bless.